Here are some examples of factorizing simple quadratics of the form y equals x squared plus bx plus c, where the number in front of the x squared is just 1. There are 4 possible combinations of pluses and minuses in that form. An example of the first one is where they're both positive, so y equals x squared plus 5x plus 6. This factorizes into 2 brackets, so I open 2 brackets. To get x squared, I must have x and x. Plus 6 is the product, plus 5 is the sum. So to get 6, I can multiply 6 times 1 or 2 times 3. The sum for that is 7 for the first combination and 5 for the second combination. That's plus 5, so this must be the right combination, so that must be plus 2 and a plus 3. Let's test that. Y equals, let's multiply these 2 brackets. X times x is x squared. X times plus 3 is plus 3x. Plus 2 times x is plus 2x. Plus 2 times plus 3 is plus 6. That gives me x squared plus 5x plus 6. So that's correct. The second combination is where I have a negative and a positive. Example of that is y equals x squared minus 5x plus 6. Again, I open 2 brackets. And that must be an x and that must be an x to get x squared. The plus 6 is the product, but the sum is now minus 5. So to get 6 from 2 numbers that times together to make plus 6 but add together to make minus 5, they must both be negative. So to get 6, it's minus 6 times minus 1 or minus 2 times minus 3. The sum for that, minus 1 and minus 6 is minus 7, minus 2 and minus 3 is minus 5. You can see that minus 5 comes from this combination, so that must be minus 2 and a minus 3. Let's test that. Y equals x times x is x squared. X times minus 3 is minus 3x. Minus 2 times x is minus 2x. Minus 2 times minus 3 is plus 6. That gives me x squared. Minus 3x and minus 2x is minus 5x. And there's plus 6. And that's correct. Now, for the third combination, the form is x squared plus 5x minus 6. So again, open 2 brackets. That must be x and x to get x squared. Now I have a product that's a minus 6 and the sum that is plus 5. To get minus 6, that would be the result of multiplying 2 numbers, that is, one is positive and one is negative. So 6 equals, could be minus 6 times plus 1 or plus 6 times minus 1. But it could also be minus 2 times plus 3 or plus 2 times minus 3. The sum for each one of those combinations are minus 6 and plus 1 is minus 5, plus 6 and minus 1 is plus 5, minus 2 and plus 3 is plus 1, plus 2 and minus 3 is minus 1. We have plus 5. That matches with this sum. So that must be the correct combination, which is plus 6 and the minus 1. Let's test that. Y equals x times x is x squared. X times minus 1 is minus x. Plus 6 times x is plus 6x. Plus 6 times minus 1 is minus 6. So that equals x squared minus x plus 6x is plus 5x minus 6. That is the correct answer. The final combination is where we have two minuses. Again, to factorize, I open two brackets, and I must have x and x to get x squared. This time the product is minus 6 and the sum is minus 5. So to get minus 6 again, that must be the product of a positive and a negative. So 6 equals either minus 6 times plus 1 or plus 6 and the minus 1, or a minus 2 times plus 3 or plus 2 and the minus 3. The sum for these, for the first one is minus 6 and plus 1 is minus 5. The second one is plus 6 and minus 1, which is plus 5. The third one is minus 2 and plus 3 is plus 1. And finally plus 2 and minus 3 is minus 1. We have a minus 5. That matches with the first sum. So that must be a minus 6 and a plus 1. So plus 1 and a minus 6. Let's test that. Y equals x times x is x squared. X times minus 6 is minus 6x. Plus 1 times x is plus x. And plus 1 times minus 6 is minus 6. And that gives me x squared. Minus 6x plus x is minus 5x. And the minus 6. That is the correct answer.